Hey, this is another test demo video of Game in Progress synSpace Drone Runners, and today's topic is social and options. And both those buttons, let's close that. Both those buttons are down here, where that's the options key and that's the social key. So let's push the social key first. And you see we just get an error message, enable social modes and options. So until you enable a social mode, there are none. Social modes basically are ways to communicate with the other players. They come in several flavors. For example, the piano. So this is the one you'll use the least, but if I go to options and I enable piano in social and tap it until it says show, now when I hit the social key, one of the options is the piano. And in fact, since that's the only option, tapping the social key a second time makes the piano go away, on off. Now, maybe you don't want to use this. I just wanted to show it. So let's turn that one off. Again, enable piano and social. Bonk. And note the options panel now has three tabs: General, Nerd, and Star Map. Star Map is used only by the actual star map. So most star maps are not going to populate anything here. Nerd is used if you're going to be developing your own star maps, whatever, you'll have to use some of this information to get that job done. And general is just the kinds of things you might expect to see. And one of which is opening the DroneNet handbook in case you want to go back and check something. Did I get the lens dirty again? I've been smearing the lens a lot today. That's disgusting. Okay, anyway, so that's options. So let's look at the key. Another social mode option is the vocoder, previously known as the microphone, and you can turn that on or nosy. So now that that's on, the social button will turn the vocoder on and off. And this is the same cool microphone thing that I'm working on that we won't talk about today. But note the difference between just cycling it on and off and actually disabling it. So over here you're saying, man, this thing doesn't exist. There is no microphone. And then finally that takes us to the one I really wanted to show today, which is enable text rated this or lower. None. Okay, that means no keyboard. Now if I say G, then what that says is, A, I can toggle this on and off. And I can send chat. La 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 la. I send chat, and it scrolls there, and it scrolls on the marquee. But this other player didn't see it. Okay, so why did this other player not see it? Well, I am the red player, so we tap on our thing, and we see that I have a language rating, and my language rating is, can you read that at all? I don't know if you can read that or not. Anyway, it's PG-13. And the red player earned that rating by using vulgarities in his chat. Not too many, but more than none. So he is a PG-13 guy. Now over here, me, the blue guy, I don't see what he types. Why is that? Well, if I go to my options, I see that I've got my stuff set to enable text rated for this or lower, set to none. Okay, I could use a better word than none there. Anyway, so I had my keyboard completely turned off. So now I have a keyboard also. So my social key will now open a keyboard. Okay, and so now I'll have the red guy send something again. Bonk. And sure enough, the blue guy still didn't see it. Why is that? He's got a keyboard turned on. Well, let's look at that setting again. Well, he's only seeing people rated G and below. And we already established that the red guy, which this guy can see also, the red guy is PG-13. So, can I turn that off like this? Oh, good. So we can't see him because he's too much of a potty mouth from our perspective. So to fix that, we say, okay, we will accept PG-13. And now when he types, la la la, I'm a PG-13 potty mouth, look at me. Then suddenly we still don't see it. But that's because we've met this guy before, and we've given him a hat. We've given him the mutant hat. So he's muted, so we will never hear anything he says. So let's turn that off by giving him a new hat, and this time we love him because he's learned his ways. He's never going to say any bad words ever again. So now he goes tappity 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 tap tap. I'm not saying anything naughty. And looky, we saw it. And we say, welcome. Well, I'm typing with my left hand. So we say something weird, and he doesn't see it. He doesn't see our answer back to him. Well, why is that? Well, as you know, we are rated PG-13. We, the blue player. And he, the red player, has his own language filter, which he's got still set to G. Being a saucy guy, he's probably going to leave his set to either X or all, which is like no filter at all. So now he's willing to hear anything from any scumbag. And we say, ta 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 ta. And look at that. The scumbag speaks. Okay, so I don't want to overly fixate on vulgarity in text chat. It's just that I want to have text chat, but you really can't trust some people to speak nicely to their peers. So I don't want any mothers out there feeling like I didn't provide enough protection for their child. So anyway, please be nice to other players. But if you can't be nice, then there are some features that help them protect themselves from your lack of niceness. Speaking of which, there's also a spam filter. So if you send too much data too quickly and thus irritate people, but you're not swearing, you get a little error message. Slow down, you're typing too fast. And it automatically closes the keyboard, so you have at least the momentary inconvenience of having to reopen it and then waiting a timeout before you can start successfully typing again. It's not too onerous, and if somebody were really in the server spamming constantly, the right thing to do would be to give them the mutant hat and ignore them. Which will also, if everything's working well, make it so that you do not ever share a server with them. When you go to, well, the way that actually works is when you ask for a particular server instance, a particular star map instance, it looks through, the server looks through all existing instances, all the instances where people are playing that star map, and checks with them if any of them are ignoring you, if any of them hate you. And if any of them hate you, then you're not invited into that particular server instance. Now, that may not be a completely accurate description of the feature, and that does sound like it could be used for rude purposes. So let's hope that's not a completely accurate description. But the idea is that if once you ignore somebody, you shouldn't really even run into them all that often. But if you do, you won't see anything they type. Oh, I wrote a little script today. Let's see, what have we not covered? The marquee, you saw that. Did I explicitly say in this particular video that the way I know that you're a PG-13 person? I don't think I did. So here I am. I'm typing away. My current rating is PG-13. Okay, so every time I type something, I look at it and see whether or not it has any of a short list of vulgar words in it. Now, to test this, I kind of have to type a vulgar word here. So, don't read what I'm doing. I'm going to look away. Here, we can look at kitty. La 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 la, kitty. Okay, so I'm typing this obvious vulgar word, but I want you to listen to what you hear. Well, you kind of have to put it on screen. Okay, you couldn't really hear that. But notice that even though I typed a vulgar word, it actually got turned into both players saying the word bleep. So no matter what you typed, it'll get turned into bleep. And that's for historical continuity with my other games. And when you do it, when it happens, you actually hear a little sound effect, which was not very obvious there. But the sender, the person who typed it, you'll hear a little sound effect that basically means you just said a bleep word, you earned 1 bleep point. And your current language rating is just the percentage of your total chat, which is vulgar. Now, I did just talk about the spam filter, so that probably means I just talked about that as well. I had to film this several times today, so I'm not completely sure what I said in this particular recording, which means it's probably a good time to stop. We talked about buddy hats, so that was everything on my script.